very special guests. So if you've been in this company for any length of time, you've probably heard us talking, raving about Zach and Eden Slobin. So when I remember Lauren and I going to our first event that we ever won, a trip we ever earned. And I remember meeting Zach and Eden and just being so impressed. And I think one of the biggest things that you'll notice about them both, that they have such remarkable vision. So much so that I've said that I believe Zach should be like chief of staff of this company. He should be our chief visionary officer, because they have the ability to see into the future of what works in the field, what's coming. A lot of people can do what's on the plate right in front of them, but what they have the ability to do is they see 6 months, 1 year, up to 5 years out. And they are making changes and shifts in their team. They're also some of the finest trainers. They've built tools that the company leverages. OurEasyTraining.com is a website that they built, and it's phenomenal. They've created compensation plan trainings. Zach's written the scripts for some of our favorite videos. If you've ever watched the video Isogenics Advantage, Zach basically, he not only crafted the script for that, he basically directed it, and it's set up and just modeled right after like proactive videos. I remember him telling me that and just thinking, what a genius. And recently, I've had conversations with them about the shifting of our industry and what they described. And when they talk, I get a pen and I get a notebook with a lot of blank pages and take endless notes. So when they're talking tonight, I just want you to note their verbiage. I want you to notice what kind of communicators they are. I want you to hear when they talk about trends. I think you're going to be so impressed. If you've never heard them speak, you're going to want to go to YouTube after this call and just grab the recordings of them training together and individually. It's absolutely brilliant. They lived in California, recently moved to Austin, Texas. And like I said, just dynamos. And I think you're going to love this concept that they've developed. And not only, this is the other thing that I want to really note about them and honor them. They aren't just people who say, hey, here's some ideas. Here's some ideas in construct. What they also do is they follow their shot. So not only do they have this idea, they went to work drafting presentations, creating PDFs. Eden left me a message today that they were almost finished a video. And so when you hear this, I want you to just think that this isn't just a nebulous concept that's just been kind of thrown out there. This is so well thought out, now in full out development. And if you choose to use it, I think you also are a genius. So without further ado, Zach and Eden, thank you so much for joining us.
I mean, I don't, how do you, okay. So one, we have to redo our budget because we're going to have to start sending you money for the way that you talk about us, because it's just, your edification of us is really just, it's too much, and it's just unbelievable of you. And thank you. And it's humbling. It's an honor, because what I know about you for sure is you don't throw those things around lightly at all whatsoever. And, one of the great joys of mine and Eden's time in Isogenics has been the development and the fruition of our relationship with you. I mean, the energy exchange, the value exchange, the educational exchange has always been nothing but mutual. And I hope everybody within the organization that's a part of this call and that's watched the recording, I hope you all really just value what you have with such a pro leading the way as part of the greater good of the company, but specifically the team that you're a part of. Because, one of the reasons I got out of the industry years and years and years ago was because I got really tired of listening to big loose quotes here, leaders getting on stage or speaking at conferences and saying one thing when in reality they were doing something completely different. And you have access to somebody who lives within the integrity of what she speaks and preaches on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. And how do we know that? Well, results never lie, right? You can lie to your friends, you can lie to yourself, but your results will never lie for you. So Jessica, thank you for everything that you bring, for everything you said about us. We're excited to show you something. So yes, we're going to actually kick this off
with a video.
We happen to finish today. So
yes, can we share our screen?
Also,
sure I'll add one more thing, and I agree with everything that Zach said.
That's on recording, by the way, just to be clear that she agreed with everything that I said.
In the last 2 minutes, guys, in the last 2 minutes, let's be more specific.
I'll take what I can get.
Jess, it's such an honor to know you and to learn from you. I learn so much every time I'm in your presence or I listen to your training, your verbiage, your approach, your posture, your professionalism. is just exquisite. And I just have the ultimate girl crush on you. And additionally, it's been so fun watching all of the leaders on this call and the level of success that you've had, and know that, and you probably already know this, how much of the conversation inside of the company has made up of your guys' stories. And we're just so thrilled for you and excited to continue watching you all to grow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I just want to, before we play this for you,
do we need a little context?
Yeah, let's give a little bit of context. So we're going to play a video for you that is designed for to really wake up the potential consumer. So it's really, this is really a conversation that's geared towards customer acquisition. However, when we're done showing you the video, we're going to paint the picture of what the business can look like because of the conversation that you're about to see. Okay, so
turn up the volume.
Turn up the volume on your computer. Like, get present.
This isn't even on YouTube yet.
Yeah,
we just showed this to our team 30 minutes ago, and now you guys get it.
Also know that we'll be adding subtitles to this video, but just pay close attention, jot down notes, feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, and as you see things you like, pop it in the chat box, pop words that come to mind, things that you like on the screen, things that you're noticing and taking away.
And the one thing I also want you to do is pay very close attention to the language that we use, and most importantly, pay attention to the story that we're starting to tell, okay? Pay attention to the story that we're starting to tell.
Ready?
Erica Rothenberger says the anticipation is starting to kill her. Well, you're a very relaxed, mellow, chill person, so I'd imagine you can hang on just a little bit longer. It's no big deal. We don't get you worked up too much.
All right, we're starting.
Let's go. Let's get into it. So
share screen.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. It's like literally still in the editor.
All right.
Okay. Screen.
One day you wake up, you're an adult, and everywhere you look, people you know aren't feeling well. Perhaps even you're not feeling well. Burnt out, brain fogged, sore, stiff, slow, unfocused, lethargic, sleepless, anxious, depressed, sick, uncertain, ambivalent. Watching people pass away younger and watching people suffer in pain as they get older. And we're not here to bum you out. We just get it because unfortunately, it's something that's become normalized. You're about to discover how to make optimizing your body and mind simple. This is your gateway to leading edge innovation combined with the conscious selection and sourcing of the cleanest ingredients, allowing people just like you to find their way to increased regeneration, detoxification, longevity, and overall performance. We're going to show you how to make biohacking easy, accessible, and sustainable so that you can experience greater vitality, energy, focus, and overall mental well-being. Sometimes, in order to move forward, we have to take an honest look at where we are and where we've been. And from there, we can begin to create a new future. The data, it's pretty grim, and you're not alone in struggling to feel your best. According to Science Daily, 95% of the world's population has health problems. What the actual? And if you're in your fields learning this, good, we are too. It's why we do what we do. It makes zero sense that we're living longer than we've ever lived, yet we're sicker than we've ever been. We live in a world where rapid advancement over the last 100 years has come at a steep price. We went from thousands of years of processing naturally occurring foods, environment, water, etc., to expecting our bodies to process, poison. All of this leads to stress on the system. Speaking of stress, guess what stress causes? Yep, it causes inflammation. And when the body's inflamed, bad things happen. And why wouldn't you be stressed? It is wild out here, friend. There's overwhelming evidence that everything you see on your screen is causing unmanageable stress and leading to significant increases in disease. Okay, enough of the problems. Let's talk about solutions, because there are solutions and there is reason to be more than hopeful. Right now, there's a massive uprising of people who are fighting against the current system by taking ownership of their own physiology, which brings us back to that word biohacking. Ultimately, you could put yourself in a position to handle today's elements and be the same age 10 years from now as you are today. Wait, what? That's correct. The strategies you're going to have access to can help you turn back time on what's happening inside your body. Scientists refer to this as your biological age, meaning that you might be 38 years old chronologically, but inside you could be 22 years old. It sounds like magic, but the only thing we're going to make disappear is the junk that your body's been storing. There's 3 tenets to reversing biological age. The first is autophagy, which is the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells. The second is mitochondria function, mitochondria being the powerhouse of your cells, determining your cell's survival. And finally, stress reduction, because stress plays a part in every major disease. There is one issue with accomplishing the 3 tenets, though. It can be incredibly expensive and inconvenient. From $10,000 plus IV therapy bags and stem cell transplants to $50,000 plus artificial intelligence options, accessible choices for the everyday consumer just haven't really existed. And at the end of the day, cold plunges, saunas, and red light therapy all have tremendous value. But like the saying goes, you are what you eat. What if you could have access to the exact vitamins, nutrients, minerals, and protocols that your body's craving delivered to your doorstep in a simple to use daily system? Now, we know there's a lot of products on the market. For 20 years, Isagenix has been committed to bringing the cleanest, purest, highest quality products to market with our 8-step quality assurance system. This means you're getting access to daily wellness solutions that are more stringently tested than products which are certified as organic. As you read through the individual products, what you'll find is that they each go to work on different areas of your body, but they work together synergistically and provide the nutrition side of how to achieve the 3 tenets. Oh, and they also offer a slew of other benefits like focus, cognitive and memory enhancement, immune support, hair, skin and nail health, gut and brain support, fat burning, and more. The person who shared this video with you can give you a PDF so that you can read all about the products in detail. Speaking of results, documentation beats conversation. We don't believe in quack science or fad diets, so we put our products and systems to the test in third-party controlled studies. 16 studies have been peer-reviewed and published, as a matter of fact. Remarkable. We also sign contracts that allow the researchers to publish the results regardless of whether or not they're in our favor. Thus far, that hasn't been an issue. #undefeated. In one study, we saw a 33% increase in total toxins released and 25% decrease in oxidative stress. Ultimately, we have 20 years of results, and results don't lie. Being healthy is an inside game that gets projected to the outside world in the form of lean muscle mass, clear skin, bright eyes, reduced wrinkles, and of course, huge happy smiles, because feeling confident and smiling tends to go hand in hand. The reality is that life is easier when you're healthy, able to focus and feel good in your body. Life is easier when you aren't achy and in pain all the time, when you have energy and are performing at your best. And the ability to have those things in your life consistently are simply a function of the choices you make physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. We now find ourselves at the end of what could be your new beginning. What you're going to see are 2 different options to start your path to longevity. That's it. No hard close, just an invitation to consider what it would mean if you were to take complete ownership of your mind and body. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. We know that what we have can make a positive impact in your life from years to come. But if you decide not to do our thing, no worries. But please, for the sake of your family and most importantly yourself, do something.
Wow. I love that. I love everything about it, especially how it ends. Really powerful.
Cool.
So,
glad you did it. Yes.
I love the video so much.
awesome.
And I think it would be helpful for people to really just hear from you guys. What's the genesis? What generated this in your mind? Well, why this?
Yeah. Okay. So we, just to be really clear, Eden's been a health junkie since the day I met her. And preceding that, above the idea of being a health junkie, both of us are business junkies. We love business. We don't apologize for loving money. We love paying attention to trends. We love to identify where our market's going. And about 5 years ago, when Eden got really sick, for those of you that don't know, 4 years ago, Eden got really sick, and it led us down a deeper rabbit hole than we were already in when it came to holistic ways to get healthy. And that meant exploring a wide variety of alternative modalities and practices that were fairly new to us. And around the same time, I also started to really want to investigate the root cause of some of my mental health issues. I've struggled with anxiety and depression for years. It's something I've been very open with in front of all of you on huge stages. It's not something I'm ashamed of or anything along those lines. And I actually went to work on kind of learning more about my neurotransmitters and my brain chemistry. And what that all led to was we found this small cluster of people in the world who were essentially rising up together in this rising up together in this conversation around biohacking, this conversation around taking ownership of our own physiology so that we can be more proactive, more preventative, more forward thinking, so we can really take back our health from the existing kind of powers that be in the system that is. And so when we started to take a look at where Isagenix had been as a company and kind of what we'd all fallen into with the advent of the amazing, of course, collagen product that's impacted so many people's lives, we just knew that it was time for the story to evolve. We just knew that it was time for Isagenix to kind of take its right place in the world of wellness. And that was getting back on the leading edge and the cutting edge and really kind of moving things into the next iteration of who I believe we were always destined to become as a company. And so when you started to take a look at the world of wellness, you start to look at where the money is being spent. The money is being spent in this overarching umbrella called longevity, okay? And that longevity industry, to put it in perspective, within the next, I believe, 4.5 to 5 years, is going to become a $183 billion a year industry.
With biohacking being a $63
$3
billion industry.
Subset within it, right? So we used to live in San Diego, California. We now live in Austin, Texas. Both of those cities arguably could put a stake in the ground and say, we are the epicenter of wellness. If something is going to come from the fringe and come into the masses, it's probably going to start in one of those two places, Los Angeles, of course, included as well. And we really started to invest. You know, at one point we both did NAD for $10,000. We both did, you know, which obviously isn't accessible for the everyday person. We started investing into things like ozone therapy and red light therapy, and we were already doing intermittent fasting and things of that nature, of course. So when you ask kind of what was the impetus, it was really just a very clear, yes, this is where wellness is going, but most excitingly, Isagenix is already perfectly positioned to take advantage of what consumers are looking for.
Yeah, when we started getting the NAD product, the nootropic, we really started to look around and realize, because we always saw that this was the vision where Isagenix could go, but we started getting products that really fit the needs and the interests of people who are inside of this conversation. And you know, one of the reasons why we got into biohacking through me being sick was I was so committed to not just healing thoroughly, but there's a difference between trying to rush through one's healing, which impossible, and healing efficiently
And sustainably.
And sustainably. And that's what I was interested in. We were willing to invest whatever it was going to take to allow me to have the most efficient healing. And it was through that we discovered so many of these modalities. And it's also through that journey that really made me feel like, gosh, weight loss is absolutely a part of somebody improving their health when it's done the right way, which of course our systems helps to support. However, leading with a weight loss conversation for me just wasn't something that felt aligned for me anymore, because what I know is that when people are focused on longevity, when they're focused on turning their cells back online, when they're focused on giving their body functional foods and supporting their overall well-being, that weight loss for those who have weight to lose will happen as a result. It's a part of this conversation, but for me, it's not the lead. It became far more important. Like, I'm carrying around some extra pounds right now as I'm continuing to, you know, fine tune hormones and so on. And if I felt that weight loss was the only way that, or was the only thing that would indicate my health, I would like literally go crazy. It's important. And it's far more important, I've learned, to address underlying root cause and really give the body everything that it needs in order to function optimally. Now, again, we've been doing this with our systems for years, but how do we position the products from a market, and for us, positioning the products around the conversation of longevity and helping people to understand that these are products that can help to support them in not just becoming healthier, but staying healthy and being energized, not because they're taking a ton of caffeine, but because their mitochondria are functioning properly, because their gut health has improved, because they're getting the spark plugs that their bodies need to fire properly. And we feel that with this conversation, what it also attracts is, it's definitely a bit of a niche target market, but it attracts people inside of this conversation of biohacking and longevity, or the people who are interested in it, who are probably already living somewhat of a healthy lifestyle, who are already investing in products, and who feel that no matter what happens economically, their health is the most important thing to protect and to ensure that they can continue to promote, that they can continue to improve. 50% of US consumers said that wellness is a top priority in their day-to-day life. This is new since COVID. And that was also one of the things that happened from a consumer standpoint. And maybe for those of you who are leading with weight loss, maybe you've seen that some of your leads have dried up, because the truth is that the majority of people right now in the world are trying to stay afloat with their mental health. And the idea of weight loss has taken a back seat to overall just staying in the game. So we feel that this is a really prudent time to make this shift in terms of the conversation that we're having. There's an absolutely massive opportunity from a business standpoint. We read somewhere about how all the big venture capitalists in Silicon Valley are all investing into longevity businesses, and that all hedge funds are soon going to have some representation of longevity businesses inside of their portfolios. And inside of longevity and biohacking, guess what? We also are capturing multiple generations who are interested in this conversation for different reasons. We've got Gen Z who are interested, and millennials, because they watched parents, well, Gen Z and millennials more so, probably grandparents decline, and just parents and grandparents decline. We, of course, Gen X, millennial, we're depending on who you ask, we're either Gen X or we're millennial, but
I'm a millennial.
All right.
I don't care if it's by
Zach's claiming millennial. We've watched this generation who have participated in the pharmaceutical industry and in what a lot of like traditional medicine has told them to do, and it hasn't worked out well for them. So we've got these generations who really are investing heavily into our wellness because we want to create a different reality for our bodies and how we age. And then we've got some of the baby boomers who are fit and interested and not looking to have the same experience of others inside of their social circle. And so they're interested in the conversation too. It's very, very inclusive. And the people who are right now Gen Z, of course, some of them are going to grow into this conversation over time, but they're all also looking for business opportunities and ways to create impact and really be part of that positive change. So we feel that this is an absolute home run. And we also feel that we can run with this and we can continue to evolve the conversation and adapt to where industry goes for probably the next 10 to 12 years. We can all go on a big, big, big run inside of this conversation. And I'm pretty confident just based on the products that Dr. Plant has put out so far. And I know that Sharon also is really on board with this conversation. Like, we're going to continue to get products that will allow us to innovate and stay relevant inside of this space. And that's very exciting.
All right, so let's talk a little bit of shop for a minute. So when you look at what has transpired in the world, because the first thing that might pop up, I don't know if any of you had the experience, but all of a sudden you're looking at it and wait a minute. Okay, so we've gone from this roughly $200 collagen sale, right? 60 doses of collagen to Zach and Eden, you just showed us a pack that's $550 in an inflationary economy where people are losing their jobs and everyone says a recession's coming. Are you nuts? And the answer is we are that crazy, but here's why. When you are in an inflationary economy, what quickly can happen is you can run into a deflationary economy, meaning that companies start to cut the prices of their products penny by penny, dollar by dollar, simply so they can stay afloat, just so they can make a little bit of money to cover costs. When you, in a down economy, put up a premium product and you know who you're speaking to, you differentiate yourself from the market. Because now what you're doing is you're establishing yourself as saying, this is who we are, this is what our value is, this is who our ideal customer is, this is our ideal business partner is, and we're unwilling to get in a race to the bottom with all these other companies by coming out and saying, well, our product is the cheapest, but you should use it because X, Y, Z. And that's kind of what we're seeing with the collagen market, right? So collagen is a massively exploding conversation, but drop a 1 in the chat box if you know at least one other person in another company selling a collagen right now. Just drop a 1 in the chat box if you know at least one other person. It's everywhere. But what are we doing with collagen? Same beautiful box, same glass bottle, but now we're telling a slightly different story. We're telling a functional food story. We're telling a gut health story. We're telling a repair-based story. We're telling that collagen is part of an overall ecosystem.
And an essential nutrient.
Right. Now, from a business perspective, again, let's look at what's happening economically. The Great Resignation, over 4 million people left their jobs. Another 40 to 60% are predicted to leave in another 6 months. The number one category of people that are resigning, though, white collar professionals. Okay. Now, I'll give you a little industry history and a little Isagenix history. In 2008, 2009, recession. Isagenix income or Isagenix revenue took a little bit of a dip. Recessions happen. But what started to happen was white collar professionals slowly but surely started to trickle into the network marketing profession. And the people you see on this call, Jessica, myself, Erica, I see Jamie Lynn on there, I see Denise on here, are all results of, Lauren's on here, are all results
we all
of
around the same time.
That group of people saying, we're going to take a look at this thing. And now what we have the opportunity to do as a company is to say, hey, we're not just another network marketing company. We are literally positioned in a way that, and I'm willing to bet this, and Jessica knows the industry as well, nobody can claim what we can claim right now. Nobody. Now you might see some other companies say like, oh, we're doing biohacking. But they're not.
Nobody has this suite of products.
Correct, because biohacking is an ecosystem. It's multiple components. And the thing that made Isagenix so special in 2002 when it first launched was it was a system of products that was attacking a problem that no one at the time had an answer to. Well, guess what we're bringing to the market? A system of products that attacks a problem that most people don't have an answer to. That is a good business. The other thing I love about going higher price ticket right now is this. That tells you that you're going to have a serious consumer, and a serious consumer who puts skin in the game is more likely to keep using the products. If I do an 11-day shred or a 7-day, and again, nothing wrong with those things, but if I do a 7-day and I lose the 5 pounds I was hoping to lose, do you really think there's a high percentage chance of me coming back? Probably not. We've seen that in the category. But when you can tell a compelling story and you can continue to educate, which is why we're developing the tools that we're developing, people start to look at this and go, wait a minute, this isn't a luxury spend. This isn't me going outside of my normal spend. These are essential. I am committed to feeling my best, not just today, but tomorrow as well. And one of the conversations I'd love for us to start having as a company, and we've been riffing about this the last couple of days, is, we talk about generational wealth all the time in the network marketing space, generational wealth, generational wealth. But what if you could start to influence families, not through crash diet strategies, not through one-off superhero product strategies, but by fundamental, real optimization, wellness strategies? What if you could start to influence generational health? What if you could start to do that? Now, the other thing that you're going to watch us do, and again, feel free to do whatever you want with whatever you see us put out. And at the end of the day, please, you're an amazing team. We're not, you know what I mean? Do your thing. But one of the greatest things you can do in the world of marketing, especially when it comes to attracting partners, is create an us versus them situation. And right now, the us versus them, if you look at the money that's being poured into the longevity space, the longevity space is being designed for one thing and one thing only, and that's to eradicate the current healthcare system. So imagine that conversation. Imagine the conversation, the excitement, the passion, the enthusiasm of basically saying, hey, we're done with the current structures as they exist. Doesn't mean there's no room for Western medicine, because you're going to see a lot of things in the longevity space that are dependent on Western medicine. But make no mistake, we're changing the conversation dramatically. The other thing about this, again, for those of you that have been around a while, I hope that you're seeing this automatically. This really kind of brings us back together as a community. We've really gotten stretched out. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've really gotten stretched out from the kind of the people that are in the start group to the pioneers of the company. People who've been around 20 years. And a lot of people kind of started to get a little bit lost. Well, who are we and what's our identity? And are we a cleansing company? Are we a beauty company? Are we a skincare company? Like, who are we? And what this does is it really brings us back together. It really bridges multiple generations, like Eden talked about, because everyone can find a place inside of this channel, every single person. And so it becomes the ability for us as a culture, as a company, as a community to say, this is what we stand for. This is what we're all about. This is what we're committed to doing. This is who we're committed to being. This is what we stand for in the world. If you are excited by the idea of impacting your life while taking down certain components of our society and our world that no longer serve us, our families, our communities, then come be a part of this thing. That's really what we have the ability to do with this conversation.
And super important to note, some of you right now are on a rocket ship with your businesses. It's very, very important that you not take a complete 180. We're not saying, hey, change your complete business strategy right now, change your entire conversation overnight, change your entire process overnight. We're not making that suggestion. If anything, we would suggest incorporating some of these talking points inside of your conversation and slowly start to transition your audience into a different conversation. As far as tools go, what we have so far is the video we showed you, which of course is for potential consumers. We also have a 19-page PDF, sounds long, but you can read it in 5 minutes. It follows a script almost identical to the one in the video. So you can use it a couple of different ways. When you're talking with a prospect, it's PVC, right? Instead of sending them the P of the photo, you send the P of the PDF, or we do have a video. So it's PVVC, but
We'll
bear with me. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a little clunky. But point being, you can ask your prospect, you can say, do you prefer to watch or to read? If they prefer to watch, they get the video. And remember, inside the video, it says that if you want to read a bit more and dig into this, there's also a PDF. So video or a PDF, or potentially, because again, this is brand new, so we're going to have to work with the process and see what's going to, what makes the most sense. But potentially you could lead with the video. And then once the person gets started, once the prospect gets started, you send them the PDF as a new customer. So thank you so much for your order. So excited for you to get your box. Here's a PDF that explains the products in more depth. Have a look through it. It'll take 5 minutes to read. And that now becomes their guide, so that when their products arrive, they're like, oh, what does this do? Oh, right. Got it. So it keeps them out of Google. It keeps them focused in a single place. So those are the tools that we have so far. We do have some, Jess, do you use boards?
Yeah.
Do you guys use boards? Okay. So I can share with you some tools that we have on boards, marketing ideas, some different scripts. And then what we have coming is I'm going to be making a new comp plan video showing this pack, showing the biohack stack. We have a friend who enrolled 3 people on the biohack stack last week, made $480 in PIBs and cycled 3 times. Another thing that's happened kind of historically for those of you who have been in isogenics prior to collagen dropping is we were always a value pack culture. And I know that this team especially has always been. Now, when you have a value pack culture, every time somebody gets started, there's over 300 BV that's flowing through the tree. Plus, if you're the person that enrolled the new customer, you earn a $200 double PIB. Now, when that all shifted with the collagen strategy, because with the collagen strategy, it was the idea of getting higher volume. So more customers getting started on a lower volume pack would then still increase the BV over time. But as we've seen, we kind of rode that wave. And for some of the reasons that Zach shared, including people really kind of pulling back from what they perceive as luxury purchases because of how a product gets marketed as kind of a beauty supplement, they don't see the value for that. They stop buying. So what happened when they stopped buying is that some of you, I would imagine, your cycles dropped. And if they did, you're not alone. So what this accomplishes for us, and one of the most important things we were looking to achieve with this, is getting us back culturally as a company to higher volume packs. Because I don't know about you, but I love the opportunity of showing a new person how to get to manager in their first 30 days and make $1,124 with the manager promotion right now. That is freaking killer. You show somebody how to get started on a $530 pack, and with 2 partners that they enroll who each sell products to 2 customers, that's over $1,100. That's a 100% return on what they've invested into their own personal consumption products. Like, that is a massive business conversation to have with people. And then the fact that there's 350 BV attached to each product and a PIB of 80, which doubles to 160. It gets your teams back in the habit of doubling up, because leaving $25 on the table is very different than leaving $160, or leaving $50 on the table is different than leaving $160 on the table with getting just a second customer started. So it creates speed, it creates urgency, it creates movement, but it also creates bigger money stories for people and upfront bonuses, because those $160 double PIBs absolutely add up. And when you can get somebody started and earn 350 BV all the way down, now all the time that you're spending developing your team and working with leaders inside of the depths and driving the line, you're now getting 3 times the volume as you were getting by enrolling people with collagen. So culturally speaking, if this is something that your organization starts to run with and everybody rows in the same direction, it can mean massive growth.
It can be a lot of fun.
It can be a lot of fun. So we have a comp plan, a new comp plan video that's now going to be reflective of those numbers, of that BV, paint the picture to somebody that's looking to get started and really have a piece of the biohacking and longevity space. People who are business minded, and again, we're in a little bit of a bubble here in Austin, but people that are interested in biohacking and longevity, they're investing a lot of money every single month doing it. And a lot of them are looking for additional ways to earn an income just so that they can satisfy their biohacking and longevity habits. Like, that's how real it is for all of us. It is expensive out there. We have solutions that actually cut the cost on what most people are spending to accomplish the same things that our products do. So we have this niche target market of people who are not only looking to create additional income to fuel their habit, but they also are just dying for an opportunity to participate inside of this economy because they see where it's going. And if you don't see that yet inside of your community, you will, because this is where wellness is going. So we're ahead of the curve. We might be some of the people you might be somebody in your circle where they're like, you're crazy, what are you doing? But you just got to be clear and follow the numbers and follow what the experts are doing and follow where the big money is being invested, and know that this is something that in 3 to 5 years is going to be a common conversation in every single household.
All right. Now, one other thing I'd love to offer.
Jess was going to
Sorry,
say.
Jess,
No, go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
No, it's going to be a little bit of a tangent. So just so we stay in the context where you're saying.
I just want to say this to you. So where Zach and Eden are sitting, where they reside geographically, the people that they hang around with, this concept is packaged up, and it sounds cutting edge. Here in suburban Philadelphia, I'm surrounded by people who maybe couldn't spell nootropic, but here's what I know. I can tell you that there are a million moms who say to me every day, I have undiagnosed ADHD. I'm never focused. I'm so scattered. I walk in a room and I don't know why I'm there. And we are so under leveraged on the power of this nootropic. Eden and I were just texting about that the other day. It is a powerful product. The testimonials I'm hearing from people who are actually trying it are powerful. Here's our challenge that Isogenics has. We don't have enough people trying it. We're under leveraged on that product. Adaptogen Elixir, talk to people. I see Jim White in the background. Ask him how many people in his field are so stressed out, they can't sleep at night. Adaptogen Elixir is the answer. So Zach said this earlier, we solve problems people have. So package it up as biohacking. You're going to seem like you have the most cutting edge. You're going to sound smart and relevant. If it's just simply you have a problem, we have these amazing solutions. Be ahead of your health. The pharmaceutical world isn't the answer, and the world's waking up to that. Sorry, Zach. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fantastic. So one last thing I want to offer all of you, one of my favorite things about network marketing, and I've been in the industry since I was about 24 years old. So it's about 4 years now. But it's about 16 years. But one of the things I always valued was I had the ability to learn business skills and marketing skills and sales skills from successful people for free. So what I always made it a point to pay attention to wasn't just go use the tool that I was being taught to use, but I'd study the tool that I was given. How was it written? How is it being positioned? What's the story that's being told? I really want to recommend all of you do that. We're going to get the PDF out. Pay attention to how I wrote the story. What you'll notice for a moment is notice how we really didn't talk about isogenics in the video. It was at the very end we talked about isogenics. Well, why is that? Well, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of companies make, and Isogenics has been guilty over the last couple of years of doing this, is Isogenics or companies, big brands like to position themselves as the end all be all, as the hero. And that's a huge mistake, especially in modern marketing. Really what you want to always be doing, and I want you to keep this in mind from now on when it comes to your own content production, is you want the customer, you want the business partner, you want the person you're communicating to, you want them to be the hero of the story. So for those of you that are Star Wars nerds or, superhero nerds like I am, think of it like this. The customer is Luke. The company is Yoda, okay? Just there to guide, just there to show the way, just inviting them into new possibilities. So start to study the tools that we come out with and start to really differentiate yourself from a storytelling perspective, because now, like Jessica's talking about, cutting edge solution, cutting edge industries, unbelievable business model, wonderful products, a community you can be a part of, and a fight that you get to take on with a bunch of other like-minded people. Start to tell that story in a way in which people look at it and go, this is my journey. This is my gauntlet. This is the dragon that I am meant to slay. And I want to be a part of it with these people that are doing this. So we've taken up a bunch of your time. We're happy to answer any additional questions or share some extra thoughts you want us to. We hope that this is valuable for you. We'll do our best to get the video out and circulating tomorrow once subtitles are on it.
Yeah, it'll be up. And to Zach's point, spending some time with the PDF and learning the conversation is going to help to increase your confidence inside of every conversation you have, because that language is going to be at the tip of your tongue. If you listen to the video again and again and again while you're driving in the car, you start to become really familiar with the conversation so that you can give a coffee shop presentation, or you can spontaneously, meet a mom picking, in the school pickup line or whatever, and also just have the words there for you right away. Yeah, go ahead.
This one's super important. If this is a new conversation for you, if you've kind of heard about biohacking, longevity, if it's new for you, don't try and present yourself as an expert. It's okay to say, hey, did you know? Are you familiar with? Have you heard? I just got off this call where I learned blank, blank, and blank. There's nothing worse inside of our industry than somebody who goes from being a teacher on a Tuesday to a financial freedom expert and holistic health coach on a Wednesday. It kills our credibility. So come from an authentic place, be transparent, be excited about that. Be excited that you're literally going to be pouring from an empty cup that you're looking to have filled up, because what your community will do is they'll look at you and they'll go, wow, that's a really interesting thing. I've never heard her talk about that before. I've never actually heard him think like that before. And he and I are from the same community. She and I are from the same place. And if she's asking those questions, maybe I get to be asking those questions. But if you just try and assert yourself as this new expert, and we have these amazing products, and it's biohacking, and you're turning your age back, and blah, 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 blah.
Don't do it.
You'll turn off a bunch of people. So there's nothing wrong than being honest about where you're at in your own personal journey. People respect that more than you trying to pretend to be somewhere that you're not. So take it, learn it, be creative with it, but most importantly, just allow it to be a real evolution for yourself, because here's what else is going to happen. If you approach it from a real place of, this is so new to me, if you really immerse yourself in the conversation and give yourself to learning of it, but most importantly, of course, start to implement the strategies into your own life, what's going to start to happen is people are going to look at you and you're going to look at yourself and go, I'm performing differently. I'm showing up differently. I feel a different kind of energy. And it'll be because you don't have to sell yourself on something. You actually enrolled yourself into something by being an active participant in what's a very new conversation for you. So that's a really important thing, I think.
Super important. And Jess, what I'll do maybe tomorrow is I can send you a list of like biohacking and longevity experts that we follow on Instagram that we've gotten a lot of great education from. And even if you just start kind of following and reading and learning about some of their content, sharing some of that stuff in your stories so that your audience knows your level of interest in the conversation just based on the experts' posts that you're resharing, you're going to learn a ton that way. What you're going to start to see is that all the rage is raw dairy. Guess what? Our whey shakes, raw, undenatured, grass-fed dairy from New Zealand, bone broth, collagen, grass-fed everything, the use of adaptogens, the use of nootropics, the focus on mitochondria, the focus on intermittent fasting. This is a lot of what you're going to be hearing these experts talking about.
So I love this so much. You guys are just I so ahead of the curve. What is interesting is that when we came into the company at 2013, 2014, value pack, the weight loss was a big thing, part of our conversation. Intermittent fasting as a concept felt like to the world, like that's starvation. People would be like, what are you talking about with intermittent fasting? Guys, the world has caught up. The conversation is now everybody's intermittent fasting. If you're not intermittent fasting, people are like, why not? What's wrong? You know this. What this does is it creates you as experts ahead of the curve, cutting edge. But the mainstream this is starting to become mainstream. Lots of Instagram people that I already follow are talking about cold plunge. Every strip mall I'm looking at in a new place has a restore hyper wellness. People are talking about cryotherapy. They're doing things like infrared saunas and red lights. This stuff is becoming so popular as the world seeks to divorce from what are the only alternatives that have been out there in pharmaceuticals. Right. Zach and Eden clearly are pictures of how to heal themselves, how to use your body as a miracle. And frankly, I'm using you guys as a model for this stuff works. And the second piece of this conversation is not only is it order basket, and you guys, we thank you so much. I'm going to go through, if you guys want to see when Eden was talking about 1124, I'm going to whiteboard it out for you because it's powerful to see it. But I think what Eden is also describing is not just upfront showing people that want to be part of our culture and partner with us. 1124 is great money, 100% return. But here's what it also creates. It creates a volume swell from retention, from growth that you guys, many of you who came into collagen culture have never seen. Lauren and I remember it. Denise remembers it. Holly remembers it. Anne remembers it. Remember from our value pack days, an entry point was 320 BV. Now that it's 123 BV, cycles and businesses look different. And they talk about retention. Yes, big factor. Guys, we are ahead of the curve. I still believe that we have collagen inside of this biohack stack. It's brilliant. You just shift the conversation a little that yes, it's an aesthetic benefit, but it's essential for an anti-inflammatory internally. So many good conversations here.
Love that. And yeah, I mean, retention that you're going to get on a crash dieter is never going to give you what somebody who's committed to this lifestyle and understands the value and the necessity for these will. That's the lifelong customer.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so grateful. I know Lauren, clinical nutritionist, has had so many clients pay her for a lot of the diagnostic work that she's done. I know that she has some input here. Lauren, do you mind closing us out? And then I'll end with comp plan and we can just make sure that these guys
know. You're going to close it out. I honestly wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, Zach and Eden, thank you so much. Like when Jess was first kind of telling me about it and I was like, whoa. And I was like, she was so excited, and I think I talked fast too, but it took me a minute to like catch up. That's how much enthusiasm came out. When you get people who've been in this for so long, like re-enrolled, right? You're like ready to do it. I mean, that culture, the community, everything you're saying is great. And personally, just the things you were saying, I wanted to say 3 just quick little bullets. One of them, the part when you're talking about the generational health, because we've really always sold the business of generational wealth. You guys, I teach at the Nutrition Therapy Institute. A lot of you still don't know that I just do that because I love it and I'm passionate about it. The newest study is coming out with autoimmunity, with celiac disease, with certain issues specific to gut health, are that it's 3 generations being affected from like what happens prenatally. So, and you can find that, it's in PubMed, it's been all over the place. But what Zach is saying about being able to intercept, and that's the value. That's when you're trying to get someone to pay for something, to say you can intercept what's happening, not just for you, but for your kids' health, for your grandkids' health. And people don't know that. And so then where you don't have to be the expert following these people. But when we first started, I'm saying we, Jessica and I, we never knew network marketing, right? We had never been in business, but we were great copycats, and we were sponges. We just learned it, and we were new on the scene. But what Zach is saying, that this information by the experts is just given to you, that you don't have to go and relearn it or recreate it. You can just learn it. We did exactly what they said. Man, I listened to Susan Sly and Lynn Hagedorn. Like, if I was not with a client, that's what I was doing. And just till those sound bites came out, but we're so able to do that, to have those tools and resources. You guys are amazing. But when it comes to the business, I was talking to someone about this the other day, and I got a little bit of resistance. I'm being transparent with you because I want you guys to see the posture around this. Was like, wait, what happened to twist and sip and no coaching? And I pretty much was like, well, do you want to cycle 100 times? Or do you want to cycle 5 times? Because you have to do 9 times the amount of work. You know, when it's 100 BV for an order and a $10 PIB, there isn't that grittiness. And what Jessica's going to show with those PIBs and the way we worked for double PIBs, many of you have heard me say this, when Janny first mapped that out for a value pack for me, I remember seeing $400, and I did the math. I made $25 an hour to teach spin. I thought, how many spin classes do I have to teach to sell 2 of these nutritional systems? And the people who have that burning desire, who have left the workforce, they want to make significant income, it is the easiest $500 or $600 investment they will ever make for an opportunity with no ceiling. And that's the conversation. If anyone's opening up their own business, if any of you own your own business in here, I would love for you to just type in the chat how much it costs for you to start up, whether it's a franchise, it's a boutique, it's a gym, if you have a business that's not network marketing, what it costs for you to start that up. And those are the people you're looking to really align with. So Zach and Eden, thank you so much. And the final little thing I would say is borrow all these people's stories. I love what you said about not being the expert, but that's what we did. From the business side, I would talk about Emily Baber, and I'd never met her. I was like, there's this girl in the company that used to sleep on a mattress floor, and now she makes 6 figures, you know, and I would just borrow these stories. Eden has posted publicly her entire health story. Like, study her, learn her, ask her, figure out what's happened, and say, here's this girl, and this is where it's coming from, because she had to do it herself. When you're going to dig into that, CG is another great one. There's people out there in our own company to borrow their stories and say, look at what she's doing. This is why we're going this direction. There's so much validity to that. It doesn't have to be your own. It's just knowing those real people with real results. So thank you guys so much. We're so grateful.
Jess, you're muted.
We really appreciate you so much. I'm going to go get my, like, really, this is, I just say, this is how, if I can do this, holding a whiteboard, and you can do this, we appreciate you so much, guys. Thank you.
Our pleasure. We're going to
Thanks
jump
for
off.
having us. Have a great night, everybody.
Guys. Bye.
Appreciate you guys. Guys, if you're in for 2 more minutes, I'm going to just show you this, what Eden was talking about with the math. If you can see my whiteboard. So Biohack Stack, it is an $80 single PIB. It's 350 BV. And I just had my first person buy it. I think it was $530. Let's say that. Remember, everything in it's money back guarantee, but these products are game changers. People see it and feel it. You still have the same kind of wow type results. Some of them are visual aesthetic, and some of them are, oh my gosh, I've done a challenge where I'm not taking my focus medication, and I can't believe how great I feel. I can't believe how calm I am, how good I'm sleeping. All right, so you get started as a customer, you convert over to associate. We just go ACM. If you have ever seen me do the comp plan, I always draw out A, C, M, and D on the left-hand side. So a person comes on as a customer and they spend $530, 350 BV goes in. They convert to associate, $29 for the year so they can get their own link. And they say, hey, I have 2 friends, Sue and Bob, who also want to get started on the Biohack Stack. The company gives you $80 for Sue, $80 for Bob. And of course they get started in the same week. So they give you $160 because they double every bonus in the same week. So now we have 160, 160. You hit consultant, and that gives you a $50 bonus for hitting your first goal of consultant. So now we have a $370 for sharing with 2 people. Now, Sue says, hey, I know 2 people who want to try this also. And Bob does the same thing. So both Sue and Bob get to consultant. You earn $100 for every consultant. So that's another $200. And now you've hit the next goal, which is Crystal Manager and the Go Manager promo. That's $500 because you did it in 30 days. So right there, you have $1,070. Okay, you follow me so far? But now look what happens. So we had 350 BV times 3 is the new math on that is 1,050 BV over here, 1,050 BV over here. Does everybody see that? Right, 350, 1,050. So you also earned a cycle. So now we earned $1,124. Does everybody see that? This is the minimum that you'll earn for 2 people with 2. You shared with 2 people and you made $1,124. $80 PIB. And by the way, just so you guys know why that is, it's because the My Pack, when anytime you have people in their initial order $350, 350 BV, you get an $80 PIB. That's called a My Pack. And that doubles. Guys, I'm just going to tell you $1,124. Think about what your businesses will look like. Instead of 3, it would take 3 collagen customers. It would take you bringing on 1 new person who comes on as an instant consultant. Now it's 1 customer. This is, I don't know about you guys, but I am so fired up about the whole concept. And I just had a girl come on just to do this and run with the business for this exact conversation. She's really my first person that's absolutely like biohack stack, let's go. And I've already had 3 or 4 conversations for her on the same thing. And every person's like, this is brilliant. These products are what everyone's talking about, packaged up, accessible, affordable. If you're following this industry at all, you can absolutely agree. Affordable, effective, third-party tested, clinically studied, doctor plan at the helm, and a community like this. I think everybody's going to find this is a new track of conversation. We said in the beginning, do you have to take this? No, maybe you're like, I don't even, this doesn't even make sense to me. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to shift at all. Some of you are doing freaking awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. If you think, hey, I can amplify this conversation makes sense. We can impact people generationally. We can really start being cutting edge again. And Lauren was vulnerable. I'm going to just be vulnerable as we close. I sometimes came on for weight loss. When we first started, you could post a before and after picture of yourself or someone else, and 30 people would write you and say, I'm interested in learning more about that. In my opinion, at least in my circles, the conversation has shifted. I've read the room, and the room says weight loss conversations can be triggering. They can feel like body shaming. It's not the best thing. I've heard stories from people that are like, I don't want to talk about isogenics with you ever because someone wrote me and insinuated that I needed to lose weight, and that pissed me off. And so now isogenics is dead to me. And I don't know about you guys, but I do get that sense that we can be part of a new conversation that's already happening, that's intelligent, sensitive, empathetic, and totally evolved. Or we can be part of a conversation that if people in your life are still having that conversation, I do think you're going to see shifting of it if you haven't seen it already, where it's a little triggering. It's a little like we've evolved. Conversations moving on. And so this makes us relevant. It's never triggering. Reset your cellular health and watch what your miracle body can do when it's properly supplemented, it's properly treated, when you're not using the pharmaceuticals, when you're not believing a lie that the pharmaceutical is more than a Band-Aid. So I will tell you, I am fired up about it. And we're going to get you all equipped. And again, if you're on board with us, we need this to go like wildfire. For the people that want to do it, we need a rallying cry from this group that says, she talked about rowing in the same direction. If you're in, we know we're getting bigger boats, but friends, get your oars. If you're in to help us row in this boat in the right direction, we need everybody to grab the oars and let's go. We're going to start changing the conversation in our community and inside Isogenics and across these teams. Have a great night, everybody. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for being part of it.